Tonight on 2020, a Diane Sawyer special. A nation of women behind bars. From the Little League mom to the lifer to the youngest woman on death row. Reporting now, Diane Sawyer.
Good evening. It's great to be back with you on this special 2020 inside the hidden world of America's maximum security prisons. I've been covering the subject for decades, but tonight something is urgent and new. The United States is incarcerating more people than any other country in the world, people serving long sentences. And women are coming into prison at a faster rate than men. More and more people in the country on all political sides agree it's time to ask about the giant human and financial cost. We are not here to excuse anyone's crime, but come with us now and tell us what you think. 4 female prisons, 8 months, a journey into a kind of foreign country right here at home. Tonight, why bother? Why bother? I'm here. And back in Maryland, we go to meet that other little girl in the photo you saw earlier. Her name, Celila Stokes. She spent 4 years on and off the unit called segregation.
I ended up busting her head open, coming out of my cuffs.
She's been diagnosed depressive bipolar, says she grew up in poverty and joined a gang because she wanted to have the fancy things other kids did. She was convicted of 3 attempted murders and in a moment of rage aimed a gun at a girl who survived. How close were you?
A couple feet.
When you pulled the trigger, what were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking.
Did you think you'd killed her?
I don't know. I don't know. Have you ever had an out-of-body experience where you see yourself, but you're not actually there? You don't hear anything, you don't smell anything. It's just like tunnel vision. That's how it was.
At the end of her sentence, Celila Stokes will be 69 years old. But there's something else you should know about the little girl in that picture. She was so bright, she was singled out for scholarship money and said to a reporter she was excited at a better chance of college. What would you have been? What would you have studied?
Oh, man, anesthesiology.
Why that?
I just think I like meticulous things. So that would be something that would challenge my mind.
She's on medicine and therapy now, a room full of books.
And I'm going to prove myself, prove that I can be, that I've changed.
And when she offers up her dream of freedom, it was not what we expected.
The sweetest thing of freedom is to actually be able to be yourself. That's the sweetest thing of freedom. See, freedom is up here.
To be in control of yourself.
Exactly. In Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, he says, I am only but myself.
And when we reached out to the woman Celila Stokes attempted to kill with that gun, she told us she believes in forgiveness. Tonight, 32 states in America have the death penalty. We're divided, so the state in which the crime is committed can determine your fate. There are about 3,000 men on death row and 55 women. We decided to look at this part of prison by tracking down the youngest women facing that sentence. Ocala, Florida, at the Lowell Correctional Institution, 2 young women come down the hall, waving, smiling together like girlfriends. How are you? They are Tiffany Cole, now 33, Amelia Carr, now 30. 2 separate crimes, 2 separate lives until they became neighbors on the notorious corridor. Do you call it death row?
No, we call it life row. It's life row. Mm-hmm.
Life row? Mm-hmm. Why?
Because we're not dying, we're living.
Do you ever think I might be executed?
No, you can't have that mentality because that means you've accepted
You've already died. You've already died.
Yeah, you cannot
already
have
dead.
that mentality.
Mm-hmm. 2 women, neither of whom had ever spent a night in jail before. Living lives so familiar. Tiffany played the flute in high school, cheerleading, Girl Scouts. Amelia, book smart, and says she modeled and was in the school Marines. Both say they were sexually abused as children and both met the wrong guy. Tiffany says she barely knew her boyfriend.
3 weeks.
3 weeks? And had you ever been in trouble?
Mm-mm.
It is hard to connect the face in these photos to the horrible crime committed with her boyfriend and his friends, neighbors of her family, first robbed, then buried alive in a grave.
I didn't know what was coming, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Her lawyer told the court Tiffany Cole thought the grave was for items they were stealing. He also talked about that sexual abuse by her father and her drugs, her mental and psychological problems. The jury saw a damning photo after the crime. They convicted her.
I am not the same person anymore. I have peace. I have joy. I have a sound mind.
And Amelia, the youngest woman on death row, convicted of another horrifying murder, helping her boyfriend suffocate his wife with duct tape and plastic bag. There is a police tape of Amelia after her boyfriend confessed. She's 8 months pregnant with his child.
Yes, we were trying I was shaking so bad.
She admits she was there, but says not when the wife was actually killed. Her lawyer argued there was no physical evidence that she had even touched the duct tape. But when the judge gave her her sentence, he called her cold and said, "May God have mercy on your soul." The duct tape, the asphyxiation. What do you feel?
In what aspect? Like reflecting?
Yes. They say they are reluctant to talk details of the crimes because they're both appealing their sentences.
It's hard to answer because it's like I wasn't where all that happened. But looking back and thinking about what she had to go through and, you know, what her family is enduring is terrible.
And they asked some questions of us about the justice system. A study estimates 1 in 25 people on death row is innocent of the crime. And 75% have no money for private lawyers. Amelia says she had no money, but her boyfriend hired a high-powered attorney. He got life, she got death.
How many rich people are in prison? Seriously.
On death row, life sentences.
We're all people who are either minorities or didn't have any money. Unfortunately, equality is an illusion.
And before we leave, she has another question, this one about TV.
I have a question. Why do you think there's such a desire to make women look so bad in the media? You know?
They watch endless crime stories about women who kill.
Like Jodi Arias, you know, that thing went huge. I don't understand. Why does America want so bad to feed off of this negativity?
The young women get up to go back to their cells 24 hours a day, except for the 3 times a week they're outside on concrete for 2 hours. In a different building, the chamber where Florida executes death row inmates. Across America, there have been 5 executions of women in the last decade, another one scheduled for Monday. And when we contacted the victims' families in both these crimes, they told us they believe the death penalty is right. The women said they will go back to their books and their prayers.
And praising God in the process, you know, and just showing people we're people.
It's not over. There is forgiveness and there is hope.
Page for this conversation. We want to thank the wardens who let us in their institutions, and we want to thank all of you who joined us here tonight. Good night.